was when Boogie Nights came
Yeah,
out.
so I was 12 and watching Boogie Nights the entire movie, and with my parents, and yeah, good times, good times.
And whose team is this? Is this your team, or is this your daddy's team?
Thanks for listening to Dad Mode Podcast, common sense parenting in a politically correct world. Here's your host, Andy Carlson.
Welcome back to the Dad Mode Podcast, common sense parenting in a politically correct world. Keep your kid quiet in a diner, for God's sakes. I'm Andy Carlson, at Andy Carlson Show on Twitter. I'm a father, and I have no idea what I'm doing, but you don't either. They're mono. Let's try and learn something together today. The website, as always, dadmodepod.com. Twitter, at dadmodepod, or just use the hashtag dadmode, and we'll get all up in that. With me today is sidekick, Uncle Nicholas Michael Johnson Assumption, at Nicholas on Twitter. Hey,
how's it going, Andy?
It's going. What are you up to this evening?
Packing my bags. Gonna be dog sitting this upcoming week, and then going down to Mankato this weekend. See a buddy of mine.
What kind of dog is it?
It's a white dog.
WHITE.
I think it's like a mixed poodle schnauzer type of thing.
It's a Pauser. It's a schnoodle.
Yeah, let's go with that.
All right, that's fine. Today's topic has nothing to do with dogs or Nick dog sitting or Nick pleasuring himself in every single room of that house that he's house sitting. But we're actually talking about kids and movies and TV, and I'm still trying to figure out how to phrase this because I want to say like adult themes, but I don't want to say adult movies like you're not making the kid watch porno. Yeah?
It's movie maturity levels, I guess.
Yeah, I'm talking about like murders, stabbings, blood, dismemberment, horror, I guess swearing, sex scenes, simulated sex scenes, and all that stuff. And what age is going to be appropriate? Because I don't trust the GPG, PG-13, R, X, NC-17 snuff rating system. Okay. Because it all depends on the kid. And right now, I'm thinking about this because the daughter is at an age where we can still watch Family Guy and Tosh.0 and Chappelle Show and just other shows that are terrible if she could understand what was going on or could actually focus on the picture. But when she turns about 1, 2, I guess we gotta start watching what we have on TV or what kind of movies we have on, because she'll be able to learn, talk, process, repeat things, and then I don't want her first word to be the F word.
I think a lot of parents worry about that to bring the topic about the F word, a lot of where the kids get that isn't really from movies, but it's from the parents and not watching their language.
What the F you talk about, Nick?
Okay, well, you're comfortable swearing, I'm comfortable with swearing. We kind of grew up in this mentality where, we swore all the fucking time, Hell, this podcast, you allow us to swear, right? Isn't there a giant E next to our podcast? I mean, say what? It's swearing is such a common thing, and you and I growing up, obviously being friends in college, I mean that's our language. I mean, it's almost like a vocabulary now. I don't know. It's gonna. You have kids though. I mean, you don't want them to start like that.
All right, so think about movies, and all right, we'll say like Gore first. Like, when you were a kid and growing up, like what was the first real movie or TV scene that you remember like really like stuck with you? Was like really terrible in like a dismemberment or a shooting or just something extremely graphic?
Nightmare on Elm Street. I remember Freddy Krueger, I believe, crawling along the walls and then like impaling someone with his claws, if I remember correctly.
Now, how old were you?
I was 5 or 6.
Don't worry, Nick won't pee the bed.
Oh, I had to have like the full light on for like weeks.
Now, this may sound weird, but when I was 8, I want to say 8 or 9, my dad was watching Casino. So, at the end, spoiler alert, Joe Pesci and his brother in the film get beaten to death in a cornfield with baseball bats. Now, it's not like over the top terrible, but as an 8 or 9-year-old kid, you're watching that and you're like, oh wow, that's not cool. That's terrible. And to this day, I actually can't watch that scene just because of the way that I remember it made me felt as a kid. And then it gets into like your neurons and brain receptors that's saying like, oh, this is, you just can't stomach it.
Suppressed memories. Oh man, that's
Repressed memories. Now, just thinking about like swearing in TV or movies, and growing up, let's see, I did have one restriction that I couldn't watch The Simpsons, except that lasted till like age 7, and then it was like YOLO, like whatever. So like swearing, man, I never really picked up on me because, like off the air, like I don't even swear that much, and it's not like a conscious decision. It's just like I just don't swear that often. But yeah, thinking back, watching like Chappelle's Show when that came out, or I'm trying to think of things that had a lot of swear words, like movies that had the F word a ton, when middle school and high school, like that, just never really had much of an effect. That have an effect on you?
You know what? In the beginning it did, but I don't know. As a young kid growing up, I mean, I think it was the violence that I think, as a kid, as a male kid, I was more excited. I didn't care what the words they said. I cared more about the actions I seen or the.
Now, what do you remember any movie that you mimicked, which had like a violent scene in it?
I'm trying to think. Let's see, mid 90s. Mortal Kombat, I think, could have been the only thing I could. Me and my friends, we made makeshift weapons, staffs, and swords. And
now, which one were you? Were you Liu Kang? Shao Kahn?
I might have been Sub-Zero.
Balrog?
Balrog? No, that's Street Fighter.
That was on purpose. And now, what about? Okay, now this is gonna get a little personal, but what about like adult themes, like sexy time on a TV show or a movie or a certain scrambled channel that somehow came in on your black and white television?
All right. So, all right, this is our podcast. I'm okay to admit this. I'm going to openly admit I grew up in a household where we had a black box, and yeah, so I was able to get the premium adult channels, and I got to watch them exclusively when I was 12 or 13, not understanding a clue of what the hell was going on, but just that I could not stop watching it when my parents were asleep, and my dad was at work late at night. So this
explains everything about you.
My whole life right there. Deep into dad mode, therapy mode there, yeah.
Because I remember, oh God, what was it? I remember when Boogie Nights came out. Look up when Boogie Nights came out.
That was, I think, I'm going to guess 98. I will laugh myself.
Because I was allowed to watch that.
Actually, I've never seen Boogie Nights. Hang on.
Because when it came out, I was allowed to watch that. And it was even worse that I was with my parents.
Oh, you know what? I'm going to bring you up a story. One of the first movies I remember that had a sex... 97 was when Boogie Nights came out.
Yeah, so I was 12 and watching Boogie Nights, the entire movie, and with my parents, and yeah, good times. Good times.
All right. My, I think, first full boob scene was, here we go, 1994, Interview with the Vampire. I got to see Interview with the Vampire. It was one of my favorite kid movies. And there is a nude scene in which the vampires shut a woman's clothes off, and a woman stands bare naked in front of everyone. And yeah, it was just, yeah.
But so bringing it back to the kids, and specifically Muggsy, having a little girl, like what age am I going to introduce her to movies that aren't? Well, I guess introduce would be a bad term. Like block her from seeing movies that like mommy and daddy are watching or TV shows that mommy and dad are watching. I mean, I guess it's gonna depend on her maturity level, because violence and swearing and titties. Well, like there isn't a good cutoff. There isn't, because every kid is different. It isn't like, well, at 8 years old you can allow them, shit and damn and hell and no Fs. That is age 11.
I mean, because there's no exact age. It's like, when do kids hit puberty? It's a range of it. There's no like set time or hour in which they do it. It's all about the maturity level of the child. If if I ever raise a kid who's way mature, someone like a kid I can trust, if they want to watch a extremely violent movie and I think that it won't alter them, I'd say go ahead and do it. But
now, if Muggsy comes up to me at like age 7 and says, "Dad, I want to watch Saw," maybe just don't tell your mom. Or
that's the parent you'll be.
Or I want to watch Platoon at age 5. I'd be like, okay, Charlie Sheen movie. Got good taste.
Okay, first of all, young kids aren't going to watch older movies. I mean, we have to reflect that older movies that had like those PG ratings, were like insane. Yep. I think Jaws was rated PG or.
How about like a relatively new movie with some gore, some swearing?
Human Centipede.
Well, I was going to say Inglourious Basterds, but Human Centipede we'll go with. I think that one's going to be off the table for a while.
Probably teenager years, maybe 13, 14.
Well, see, the thing is, like, the original one isn't terrible, like, as far as adult themes. And it sounds so weird because, you got 2 people sewn, or 3 people sewn, mouth to asshole. Two, 2 and 3 sound way worse. Because I've seen parts of 2, I never saw 3, but just reading the synopsis where it's like, so you got rape and you got murder and you got castration and you got 100 people lined up as the Human Centipede. Okay, this sounds a little bit worse, but I think overall the Human Centipede trilogy or trilogy will probably be off of Muggsy's DVD list for a while, even though they won't have DVDs in 10 years. Everything will be digital on demand.
Yeah, that's probably true.
But let's say like 7 years from now, when Muggsy's like 7, I get. I'm really good at math. All right, so say I'm watching like Inglourious Basterds, and it's got some swearing, it's got some gore, it's got some pretty extreme parts, like Hitler gets shot up, or when Christoph Waltz gets a swastika in his forehead. Yeah, that's a little graphic. That could stick with the kid. But she's relatively mature 7-year-old, and feels like she can handle the scenes. Maybe we'll cover her eyes in a couple of spots. Sure. I mean, she gets to see Diane Kruger get choked out, so that's always fun. Teach her a lesson for being a double agent.
I mean, okay, so, have you and Crystal talked about an age in which you're going to introduce swearing to the child, or?
Not really, and, like, overall, Crystal and I don't really swear too much in our personal lives. She used to. Apparently, she used to swear cuss like a sailor.
No way, really?
Yeah, except, you wouldn't expect it, though. It's kind of weird. But overall, I think just in front of the kid, just not drop F-bombs casually and things like that. Like, I don't understand, like, parents who, again, this goes back to our previous episode of setting a good example, and I think swearing's one of them. And I know a lot of parents do the lazy excuses like, well, that's just the way I talk. And you can kind of clean yourself up in front of the kid. I mean, the kid doesn't need to hear that the sports talk radio guy is a F and DB when he's like 6 and trying to do his homework.
thinking about all these, about when introducing these kids into these more mature movies, I mean, I think a lot of it's, what we talked about, it's about the kid. I mean, the kid might not even really be interested in these type of movies at all. I mean, maybe they're very happy Disney Go Lucky kids. I mean, a lot of the kids might just not find the idea of watching gore and sex and murder to be entertaining. Muggsy could just grow up being a nice Disney princess girl for the rest of her life. Who knows?
And then she'll watch. Her favorite movie would be what Krista watched this afternoon, which is Legally Blonde. But I'm not gonna lie, it's an okay movie.
It was fine.
It's not terrible.
Owen Wilson?
Yeah,
Luke Wilson?
No, Luke Wilson.
Luke Wilson.
Yeah, Luke Wilson.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Good times. But yeah, like I said, not going to force it down her throat, but also, having two TV rooms, it's not like I'm going to like secretly watch Chappelle's Show or Tosh.0 or other, adult themed shows like in the panic room, like in the crawl space. Got my little laptop and some. So, if it's on TV and the kid walks in and, maybe has some questions, I think that's a good teaching moment. I mean, I'd rather have them
learn it from you than
hear the F word for the first time from the TV, and then I have to explain what it is, rather than they hear it on the playground and then use it on the teacher.
Yeah, I think that's how a lot of kids learn what the meaning of those words were.
Yeah, both F words, both S words, the Q word, the X word, the S word, and whatnot.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Yep. Now, what was the first movie that you remember, like, besides Freddy Krueger, give me something else that, like, really traumatized and stuck with you.
Traumatized and stuck with me.
Because I'll tell you mine. Mine was Candyman. As far as we're getting into horror movies. And, not extremely over the top.
Tony Todd.
It was a creepy ass horror movie. I'm not gonna lie.
You've probably never seen a black guy before living down in Westwood.
Awful lot of honkies in here. No, but that was a scary ass movie, and I was afraid to go into public restrooms for a little while after that.
For me, I think it was let's see. I loved the Friday the 13th movies, Jason. So I wouldn't say I traumatized. I think the only one that really got to me might have been like the Hellraiser movies, because that demons and stuff was really. The Exorcist was really kind of when I was a kid. I actually go Hellraiser. I think Hellraiser freaked me out more. The demons coming out of air, because stupid protagonist was curious about a puzzle box and effing brought demons in. I think that messed me up for a while. You ever see those movies, Hellraiser?
Yeah, not really. Is that the one with Pinhead?
Yes.
No, which one's the Lawnmower Man?
The Lawnmower Man?
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
Now, I feel like horror movies have gotten a lot better, like at disturbing imagery and just scaring the hell out of kids. Like Insidious, like part 1, 2, and 3 would
creepy. Oh my god.
Yeah, like freak the hell out of me now. I can't imagine what it'd be like on like a 6 or 7-year-old.
It's all that like pop-up stuff. I think I mean modern horror movies now, it's all that shock treatment, The camera looks to the left, looks to the right, looks to the left again, and there's a creepy image, It does it faster than it used to be, and it's just like today's technology, modern special effects and stuff, like they're creepy ass fucking things, It's
Now, have you ever seen American Horror Story?
No.
It's really well done.
I heard the first one is really, really scary. The other ones are just kind of scary, but good storytelling.
They are kind of. I think the first season was the one to go with. Now, If Muggsy wants to watch that when she's like 16, yeah, maybe. 14, maybe. Yeah, we'll see.
We're judging a lot of stuff on our current movies when 16 years from now, I mean, who knows what they're going to invent. Well, technically what they're going to reinvent, because 90% of all movies or TV shows nowadays are all remakes anyway.
They're going to reboot Spider-Man 3 more times before she's 15. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, they should just have a new Spider-Man in every movie.
Almost like a Bond. Like every couple of years, they always have a different Bond.
Or what was it? Doctor Who. Those get a different Doctor Who.
Did you ever watch Doctor Who?
I have not.
I'm trying to get into it. There's so many Doctor Who's that I didn't realize how long that history of that show lasted. It was back in the 50s and 60s.
Now you can buy the box DVD set of Doctor Who, or Candyman, or Casino, or Deliverance, make you squeal like a pig boy, on Amazon. And then you can just show your 4 or 5 year old kid, all the movies. You just hang out. Well, except for Doctor Who. I mean, they might not be ready for Doctor Who, but they're ready for Deliverance, that's for sure. And the way to get that is on Amazon, top left corner, dadmopod.com. Click on our Amazon box. It will take you to Amazon through our link. Bookmark that and buy all of your Amazon crap through there. And we'll get a little taste. Keep Dad Mode Pod afloat and going on. So Nick and I can just hang out and talk about movies that used to freak us out as kids. Or the fact that Nick got so much porno as a kid, and I'm kind of jealous.
Yeah, when you
definitely
have so
explains a lot.
Shut up! I'm mostly fine now.
All right, the show is available on iTunes. Give us a subscription and a little rate and a review and a comment. First person to comment says that explains a lot about Nick. I will send you $1 on PayPal. And it'll be awesome. Follow us on Twitter at DadModePod, or me at Andy Carlson Show. Nick is at @NickAson _ too much porn. The website is dadmodepod.com. But we're going. Say goodnight, Nick.
Good night, Nick.
Be a man, be a father, go dad mode. Don't let your kids watch Deliverance, whatever you do. Because then they'll want to be outdoor enthusiasts. Or not. One of the two. See you next time.
Think the episode you just heard is worth $1? Well, send it our way. Visit dadmodepod.com/support to find out how. Be a man, be a father. Go Dad Mode. The music is created and produced by Deeb. To hear more of his tracks, visit soundcloud.com/Deeb.